Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to the medicine where wisdom is the cure. I pray all is well with you and yours today. Children of God, this is another episode of Caretaker Journey. I spoke to you all previously about the rehabilitation center that my mom was in, and she suffered 3 falls. Well, let me tell you an update. I emailed the center inquiring about the incident. I wanted to know who was on duty, how many people did you have there, how long did my mom stay on the floor, did anybody witness the falls, things like that. I wanted to know if there was a care plan going forward other than putting mattresses on the floor to, assist if she happens to fall again. What you're going to do after this incident. How are you going to manage from here on out? I was just asking questions, wanting to know, and I wanted a formal explanation. I've never received a formal explanation, but I emailed them, I'll say maybe I'll just pick a date, the 3rd. Well, I didn't get a response from them until maybe 20 something days afterwards. And I only got a response after I contacted the ombudsman. Now, let me tell you, I emailed the director, I emailed the head of records department and the head of nursing, and nobody responded to my email. It took them 20 something days to respond to the email. And when they did respond, it was on the very same day that I contacted the ombudsman. Listen to me. Nobody wants to be a problem. I realize that center is a blessing for somebody because it's patients there that people have just forgotten about, family members. So I realize that the center provides a service to the community. They feed people. They're taking care of people. They are providing jobs and opportunities for people. I get it. But after someone's loved one has suffered falls, more than one, or even just one, an explanation is required. And the fact that everybody decided to look at their email the same day and then have a response, that's unacceptable. When I was a leader, emails used to be subject to open records requests. You cannot hide behind an email. It looks like the people at the center, their, inability or untimely response, it looks like they don't want to have the hard conversations. It looks like they don't want to have the hard conversation. Well, let me tell you this. As a leader, you have got to be just. And you got to know that hard conversations are coming. You can't sweep it under the rug. You have to be honest and you have to tell people the truth, even if you don't have all the answers. You want to keep the credibility and you want people to find favor with you and to trust you again. Let me tell you something. The type of leader that I was, I understood that. I was a just leader because that is what God told Solomon to do, to be just with the people. Because Solomon didn't know how to lead. And there are several people who are in positions who have titles and they sit in seats and they don't know how to lead. They would rather push things up under the rug, but it's never ever going to turn out well when you push something under the rug. There was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Caucasian young man who was high-strung, very high-strung. And one day he went to see a movie. The movie was a spinoff of other movies that have been created in my day, the Planet of the Apes. But this particular movie focused in on one main character, and the main character's name was Caesar. Yes, everybody went to the premiere, the opening. And they came back to school the next day, and the kids were talking about it. Did you see Caesar do this? Rah! Did you see this? All kinds of stuff was happening, right? And I didn't see it, so I was very much caught up into what they were saying. Well, this high-strung young man, we'll call him John John, he was telling his side of what he thought about the movie, and he actually had people that were interested, and they were listening, and they were caught up. And he got caught up in wanting to keep the attention. I'll say that. He wanted to keep the attention, the momentum. And there was a African-American student, male student, who walked by, wasn't bothering anybody. And this high-strung young man made the terrible choice to point at this student walking by and call him Caesar. Well, that was a hard conversation for me. I want to tell you that. That was a hard conversation because when I saw John John, his hair was disheveled. He had all kind of colors on him, but the colors that I focus on were the darkness that was developing around both of his eyes. Now, I had a hard conversation with the mother because I had to explain to her why the young man, the African-American student, why he responded in such a way after being called Caesar. The mother shared with me that she didn't think that the young man should have hit her son because he didn't call him the N-word. So she didn't think that the young man should have had a response at all. Well, that was a hard conversation, but I did it. You understand? I told the truth. I gave the facts. And I didn't have all the answers because I didn't witness everything, but I did give her what I found out in the investigation. You got to have the hard conversations. You can't run from them. You can't hide from them in emails. You've got to stand up and tell people the truth, especially when it involves their loved one. And then you got to have a plan for how this will never happen again to this intensity, because things happen. People make mistakes. So I am disappointed in the rehabilitation's response in terms of how they are handling things. They are trying to now open the doors of communication and say, okay, fill this out. We'll send this to you. But it just took you too long. That's unacceptable when you're a public servant. Amen. So that is my update on my caretaker journey as it relates to the rehabilitation center. I will come back at a later date and give you an update on my mom's recovery, her mobility. Amen. Amen. I love you so very, very much. And listen, like I always tell you guys, the Lord gave me one message many years ago. He's concerned about our behavior. Don't hurt people. Amen. Don't hurt people. Be compassionate towards people. Try to love people. Try to understand. Try to see things from their side. Okay? But put God first and love on him while you can. Take care.